broken, their bodies branded as slaves. But beyond the humiliation, there was a cold military logic at play. In the brutal calculus of ancient warfare, the right eye was everything. An archer uses their dominant right eye to aim down the shaft of an arrow. A spearman or swordsman relies on it for depth perception, judging the distance to a foe's vital organs. By gouging out the right eye, Nahash wasn't just mutilating them, he was permanently neutralizing them. He was ensuring that the men of Jabesh-Gilead could never again raise a weapon against him, transforming a city of potential warriors into a community of help. An old sedan, weary from the road, sputtered to a halt before a secluded house, a dark silhouette against a sky bruised by an impending storm. The driver's door opened and Father Michael emerged, his face a roadmap of exhaustion, yet his eyes held a steely resolve. Behind him, his young apprentice, Father David, followed, his knuckles white as he clutched a leather-bound Bible. They were greeted at the door by a desperate family and led into a room where the air was unnaturally cold. In the center of it all sat Anna, a young woman so frail and vacant she seemed more a ghost than a person. The silence in the room was a heavy, suffocating blanket, a stillness that preceded a tempest. Father Michael began the initial rite, his Latin prayers a steady anchor in the oppressive atmosphere. He moved with a practiced calm, his presence a stark contrast to the nervous energy radiating from the family and the wide-eyed fear of Father David. As he sprinkled holy water onto Anna's forehead, her body jolted as if struck by lightning. Her head snapped back at an impossible angle, and her eyes flew open, revealing not the gentle blue they once were, but two black, bottomless voids. A chorus of voices, hoarse, ancient, and seething with a primordial hate, erupted from her throat, a cacophony of damnation. Through the demonic choir, one voice rose, smooth and chillingly articulate. "You seek one," it sneered from Anna's lips, "but we are 70. It paused, savoring the moment. "And I am Asmodeus." The Bible slipped from David's numb fingers, thudding onto the floorboards with a sound that was deafening in the sudden silence. The spiritual siege that followed was a blur of sleepless days and tormented nights. Michael and David remained perpetually in the room, their faces growing gaunt and pale under the constant strain. The battle was relentless, a war fought not with fists but with faith. Asmodeus was a master of psychological warfare, its voice a constant venomous whisper in Michael's ear. It dredged up his deepest insecurities, his past failures, the sins of his youth that he thought long buried and forgiven. It mocked his prayers and twisted his scripture. The room itself became a reflection of the chaos, with furniture overturned, crucifixes shattered, and the very air thick with a palpable malevolence. After what felt like an eternity of this assault, Michael, looking physically and spiritually broken, in the dust-choked lands east of the Jordan, a shadow falls. The relentless army of the Ammonites, a tide of bronze and iron, surrounds the city of Jabesh Gilead. For the people trapped within, hope is a fading ember. As desperation mounts, the elders of the city approach the enemy camp, not to fight but to beg. They plead for a treaty, for any terms that will spare their lives. But the man they face is Nahash, the Ammonite king, and mercy is not in his nature. A cruel smile plays on his lips as he delivers his ultimatum. He will grant them a covenant, but his price is a pound of flesh paid in vision. He demands the right eye of every man in Jabesh Gilead. A chilling silence descends. This isn't just a condition of surrender. It is an instrument of pure, calculated cruelty. To understand this monstrous demand, we must first enter the mind of Nahash. Why this specific, horrific act? This was not a random act of barbarism. It was psychological warfare at its most refined. The text tells us his goal was explicit: to bring disgrace on all Israel. Gouging out an eye was a permanent mark of subjugation, a living trophy of his victory. Every man from Jabesh would become a walking symbol of Israel's weakness, their spirits broken, their bodies branded as slaves. But beyond the humiliation, there was a cold military logic at play. In the brutal calculus of ancient warfare, the right eye was everything. An archer uses their dominant right eye to aim down the shaft of an arrow. A spearman or swordsman relies on it for depth perception, judging the distance to a foe's vital organs. By gouging out the right eye, Nahash wasn't just mutilating them, he was permanently neutralizing them. He was ensuring that the men of Jabesh Gilead could never again raise a weapon against him, transforming a city of potential warriors into a community of helpless victims. This act of terror was also a move on a much larger geopolitical chessboard. Nahash, whose name fittingly means serpent, was a king with ambitions far beyond a single city. He watched with a wary eye as across the Jordan, the scattered tribes of Israel were beginning to coalesce. They had anointed their first king, a tall, charismatic leader named Saul. This nascent kingdom represented a direct threat to Ammonite dominance in the region. Nahash's attack on Jabesh Gilead was a preemptive strike, a brutal message sent to this emerging power. He intended to crush the fledgling Israelite monarchy before it could ever learn to fly, demonstrating his own absolute and terrifying authority. But a serpent, no matter how cunning, can awaken a lion. The messengers from Jabesh granted a 7-day reprieve, race across the land. The news of Nahash's ultimatum spreads like wildfire, igniting not fear but a furious collective outrage. When the story reaches Saul, something profound happens. The Spirit of God descends upon him, transforming him from a simple ruler into a vessel of divine wrath. He hews 2 oxen to pieces and sends the parts throughout Israel with a stark message. Whoever does not come out after Saul and after Samuel, so shall it be done to his oxen. The tribes, once fragmented, respond as one. A massive army, 330,000 strong, gathers under his command, a nation unified by a common threat and a righteous fury. In the faint light of the pre-dawn hours, Saul launches a devastating 3-pronged surprise attack. The Ammonite camp, confident in their victory, is thrown into chaos. Nahash's army is not just defeated, it is shattered, scattered to the winds. The people of Jabesh Gilead are saved, but this victory was far more than a single battle won. It was the moment a king was truly forged in the crucible of war, and the moment a collection of tribes truly became a nation. Nahash the Ammonite, in his vicious attempt to disgrace Israel and gouge out its eye, had ironically given it a clearer vision of itself than ever before. He had intended to create a symbol of their shame. Instead, he became the catalyst for their unification and strength. If you found this story of ancient strategy and divine fury as fascinating as we did, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Your support helps us continue to bring these incredible historical and biblical accounts to life. And let us know in the comments, what other stories of unlikely heroes and brutal kings should we explore next? Thanks for watching. An old sedan, weary from the road, sputtered to a halt before a secluded house, a dark silhouette against a sky bruised by an impending storm. The driver's door opened and Father Michael emerged, his face a roadmap of exhaustion, yet his eyes held a steely resolve. Behind him, his young apprentice, Father David, followed, his knuckles white as he clutched a leather-bound Bible. They were greeted at the door by a desperate family and led into a room where the air was unnaturally cold. In the center of it all sat Anna,